Newest report in this week that the Celtics are interested in Damian Lillard after the shock deal that the Bucks waive Lillard coming off an Achilles injury, much like Jason Tatum probably is not going to play this entire season. And the rumors are the Celtics, the Warriors, the Lakers, the Heat are around this as they usually are. But my question is, do the Celtics really want Damian Lillard? Like, do we want Damian Lillard in the big 2026 is when he's going to play again? He's going to be 36 years old with no defense, never played a lick of defense in his entire career. I'm not really getting it. Like, I do understand surface level. Damian Lillard is a Hall of Famer. He still averaged 25 points a game last year. He's still one of the best three-point shooters in the history of the league. But, like, is that really going to fit the Celtics? In fact, the way I'm looking at it this way is they would take a flyer on Damian Lillard because they don't like their financial security and what it's going to look like in 2 years. New ownership group, second apron, guys already starting to leave big time. You know, you had to trade a couple, but now Al Horford wants to leave. This might be the Celtics looking at things saying, yeah, well, we don't know what this is going to look like in a couple of years. And most teams aren't going to be patient and wait on Dame Lillard. So we're going to punt next season and see what it looks like with Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Derek White, and a cheap Damian Lillard. And see what we can build around that. Which, again, in a vacuum, most people would be like, yeah, sure. But you're taking a crucial year of the prime away from both Jaylen Brown and Derek White, whom I love. But let's be honest, how many great prime years do you have left of Derek White? You're taking those seasons completely out of it, right? This is going to be a nowhere season next year. You're punting a prime season for both of those guys. You're losing a prime season from injury from Jason Tatum, and you don't know what he's going to be like when he comes back. And then you bring a well past his prime Damian Lillard into the mix. I'm not seeing it. Maybe I've got the blinders on. Maybe I get the sunglasses on and it's a little too bright, this vision for me. And I trust Brad Stevens. Unlike any of the other GMs in this town, I actually really trust Brad Stevens because he's batted 1,000 so far. But what is the goal here if you go and get Damian Lillard? And what is he going to be in 2 years as a 36-year-old coming off an Achilles injury? It's one thing to talk about Tatum coming off an Achilles injury when he's going to be, 30? But Dame Lillard going to be 36. I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it. But as they write on Yahoo Sports, in 26-27, when everyone was conceptually fully healthy, that would be, Brown, Tatum, White, Lillard, the Celtics would be absolutely loaded. I guess. But we saw what Damian Lillard did to a good team in Milwaukee. He made them worse. Trading Jrue Holiday and bringing in Dame Lillard, which would be the exact path that you're doing right now with an even worse timeline, made the Bucks a worse team. They became one of the worst defensive teams in the playoffs after being one of the best defensive teams in all of basketball when they had Jrue Holiday. So why is that all of a sudden the blueprint for the Celtics and Brad Stevens and Joe Mazzulla? I'm not seeing it here. I know he still probably got something with the 25 points a game he had last year. But again, we're talking about a guy in his mid to late 30s coming off an Achilles injury. Kevin Durant was 30. Jason Tatum is 27, 28. Those things are not equal. Those are not the same. So I'm just a little confused by it. I guess it's really taking a flyer. But at the end of the day, you still don't have a rim protector. You're barely under the second apron now, like $1 million under it because you had to sign Luka Garza. That's stiff. The Celtics are going to suck next year. I thought they were going to be a possibly home court playoff team. They're a play-in team, I think, next year. The only benefit to them is that the Eastern Conference sucks and that the Knicks are trying to hire a women's basketball coach a college women's basketball coach to coach their team. And they're probably the best team in the East. And it's wide open and everything. But with this roster, you're not better than obviously the Knicks. You're not better than Cleveland. With this roster, you're not better than Orlando or Cleveland or New York, maybe even Indiana with them having their star player out. You're behind a lot of teams in this conference, man. I don't know. This is a total punt of a season to me. And if you got plenty of room to spend next year and you can get a serviceable NBA center in here, because now you're looking at possibly picking up the bought out DeAndre Ayton, then maybe we could talk. But I just don't know how Damian Lillard is the answer. If you guys know, please let me know in the comment section below how the Celtics are getting better with a Damian Lillard deal that will get him on the roster in 2026-27. Let me know in the comment section below. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you want more Boston sports content. It's coming to you live every weekday, except Friday. That's the 4th of July. Live at high noon Eastern time, and then wherever you get your podcasts as well. I'm your host, Cam Stewart. Zach Burke keeps us on the air 5 days a week.